France 24's Irris Makler joins me now from Jerusalem. Irris, apartheid is such a loaded word. Tell us a bit more about what human rights had to say exactly in this report.
It is a loaded word, and Human Rights Watch today is reinforcing a similar report earlier this year from an Israeli human rights group, B'Tselem, which also used the word apartheid. So what they are saying is they look at the two populations. Let's focus mostly on the West Bank. They look at the two populations there, and they see that Jewish settlers live very different lives to Palestinians who live there. The Palestinians are under military occupation, as they have been for more than 50 years. And that means different roads, different electricity systems, different water systems, even different vaccinations if you live in the West Bank and you're an Israeli, and you live in the West Bank and you're a Palestinian. And what they say is that something that began as military occupation more than 50 years ago has ossified into something more sinister and quite different now.
The Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas, welcomed the report. What kind of reaction has there been from Israel?
Israel, as you can imagine, rejects the report. They call it preposterous nonsense and say that it doesn't reflect the situation. They say there are that Palestinians do live in different ways. Here, for example, Palestinians who were living in Israel in 1948 are full citizens of the country. Israel says it left Gaza in 2005. Gaza's ruled by an entity that is an Islamist entity hostile to Israel, Hamas. In the West Bank, it says that the report is not actually a fair report. It doesn't reflect all the situation. And it also attacks the messenger. It says that Human Rights Watch has an agenda, an anti-Israel agenda, and that's why this report has come out now. But it is also interesting to note, apartheid now, as defined since the Rome Statute some 20 years ago, it's not an accusation that is just of something reprehensible. It's actually a crime. And part of what Human Rights Watch is calling for is an investigation by the International Criminal Court. It's calling for sanctions. And for all those reasons, I think Israel must come out and reject this too, because it doesn't want to go down that path at all.
Irris, thanks for that. That's France 24's Irris Makler there reporting from Jerusalem.